Last week on a podcast, I was asked, what do you do when an athlete has a bad day? Do you find something to be positive about? And it's a great question because somewhere along the way, I feel we've started to believe that every practice needs to end with confidence restored, everyone smiling, and every athlete leaving feeling great. I actually don't think that's necessary, and I don't think it's preparing athletes for competition or life. But before we dive in, hi, if we haven't yet met, I'm Dr. Haley Perlus. I'm a sport and performance psychology coach, and every week I share practical, science-backed tools to help athletes, coaches, parents, and high performers use pressure to discover what they're capable of. If you find these mental toughness moments helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't mind liking this video and subscribe to the channel. Just takes a second, but it tells YouTube our conversations are valuable and more athletes and coaches and parents can find them. Now let's talk about bad days. First, define a bad day. When I say bad day, I'm not talking about poor effort. I'm not talking about disrespect. I'm not talking about an athlete refusing to compete. I'm talking about the days when you can't find your rhythm. Nothing feels right. You're slower than normal. Your timing is off. You're making mistakes, and you're making mistake after mistake. You leave frustrated because you know you're capable of more. Every elite athlete has those days. The question isn't whether they happen. The question is, what do we do with them? We don't have to rescue every emotion. As coaches, as parents, as sports psychology coaches, and even as athletes themselves, sometimes we feel responsible for making sure every athlete leaves feeling better, almost as if we're failing if someone goes home disappointed. I don't believe that's our job. Our job isn't emotional rescue. Our job is development. And sometimes development includes disappointment. Bad days are part of becoming great. If athletes only experience confidence, only experience success, only experience improvement, what exactly are they learning? They're learning how to perform when everything feels easy, when everything is good. Competition doesn't work like that. In fact, competition asks, can you compete when today isn't your day? Can you recover after frustration? Can you keep showing up tomorrow? Now, those skills are built long before game day. Those skills are built in those bad days. They're built on ordinary Tuesday practices that simply didn't go well. Resilience isn't created after bad days only, it's created because of them. And we talk about resilience like it's something you magically possess. It's not. It's a skill. Resilience is learned. And every time an athlete has a difficult day, comes back the next day, and then trains again, improves a little, their brain collects evidence. I survived. I came back. I'm okay. And that's resilience. Not pretending yesterday didn't happen, not convincing yourself it was secretly wonderful. That never works. Simply proving that one difficult day doesn't define you. We don't need fake positivity. One thing I'm careful about is forcing athletes to immediately find the positive. Sometimes people say everything happens for a reason. Look on the bright side. It wasn't all that bad. And I understand the premise, but I don't know, maybe, but also maybe not. Sometimes a practice was just frustrating. Sometimes today simply wasn't your best. And that's okay. You don't need to fake gratitude 5 minutes after a difficult session. Give yourself some time and some space. You can acknowledge the reality. Today wasn't good. And when you do that, you then may have the capacity to move towards tomorrow is another opportunity and the gratitude. There's a difference between optimism and pretending. And I like to think of healthy optimism as telling the truth. Now, let me be clear. If an athlete has bad days every day, now that's different. Then I'm asking different questions. I'm going to ask, is training appropriate? I'm going to ask, is recovery sufficient? I'm going to ask, does the challenge match the skill level? Are expectations realistic? Is burnout developing? Is confidence disappearing because they're no longer experiencing mastery? And those aren't attitude problems. Those are program problems. Those are programming questions. Sometimes we don't need to change the athlete. We need to change the environment. Because confidence grows where athletes repeatedly experience progress. Now, last week's mental toughness moment, that does matter. So if you haven't watched it, I would think it would be a good idea to go back and watch that one. Because last week we talked about mastery, the idea of feeling capable, feeling in control. Those experiences builds confidence. So if athletes rarely experience mastery, we shouldn't simply tell them to think more positively. We should really go back at the program and redesign a training that brings success. It's not easy. We don't want the program to be easy, but we want it to be achievable. And there's a difference. And then there's the power of contrast. There's another reason I don't mind an occasional bad day. They create contrast. If every day feels amazing, then amazing eventually feels normal. And when you've struggled, when you've fought through a difficult practice, when things finally click for you again, you appreciate it differently. You trust it differently. And sometimes contrast creates motivation. It reminds athletes what improvement actually feels like. It also prepares them for competition. Because in competition, you're not trying to avoid difficult moments. You're actually trying to recover from them faster than anyone else. If athletes learn in practice that a bad day is a normal part of development, they'll be far less likely to panic after one bad performance or one mistake during competition. They'll know how to reset because they've practiced coming back. So, my final thoughts. What do you do when an athlete has a bad day? You don't ignore it, you don't dramatize it, you don't rush to erase it, and you don't go all positive. You help them understand that bad days are part of becoming good. Then you ask one simple question. What do you want to do tomorrow? Because resilience isn't measured by tomorrow's performance. It's measured by today's response. Pressure isn't the enemy. Sometimes a bad day isn't the enemy either. Sometimes it's simply an invitation to discover what you're capable of when things don't go your way. And that might be one of the most valuable lessons sport has to teach us all. If you found this mental toughness moment helpful, I'd appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with an athlete, coach, or parent who could benefit from it. You'll also find additional resources and ways to connect with me in the description below. And until next time, remember, bad days don't build weak athletes. They build athletes who learn how to come back.